Hi everybody, Window World Joe here. Today I'm with Clayton and JannaRose in McCutcheonville, and we're doing a fairly large project. We have 13 total windows, 8 that are double hung windows that move up and down, 4 that are 2-section sliders, what we call a 2-light slider, and 1 big window that we've converted from one of those old 3-section windows into a 3-light slider. And we also have 3 patio doors to do to have a pool house, as well as 3 entry doors that are swing doors. So join us, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. So we're here today with Clayton and JannaRose, and we're at the old front door that we're gonna be replacing today. And I just wanted to ask you a few questions, guys, about the house. You got a beautiful little tucked away, nestled back here in the woods off of Browning Road. How did you find this house? How did it come about?
So my brother actually bought a property right next to this. We lived a couple miles away. We were looking for an opportunity to get somewhere out in the country away from houses, and this was owned by someone else in the same family, and she no longer lived here. We reached out and said, hey, this is a great spot. We'd like to be here. My brother's right next door. The rest is history. She was willing to sell it to us. She'd held on to the house for several years.
And what a great find. This is just like perfect. You've got 4 little girls.
Yes.
And it's a great property. You got a pool house. You got a lot of kick around space in the living room. So what a bonus to have. And then I understand your dad also moved to town as well. So dad and your brother are close by.
My parents are just a few miles away, and my brother's right there. My sister and her husband are a few miles away. So we're all here in the area.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So tell me about the age of the home. How do you know when it was built?
It was built in 1970 or 71.
Yeah.
So it's a little over 50 years old.
Got that architecture to it. And
windows and doors were all original. So.
And we noticed they were the old Andersons. They had jam liners. That's what we took out, and we'll be showing that. Why did you decide to take on the entire project versus piece and meal? Because a lot of our customers do it in stages, and you decided to just knock the whole thing out. What precipitated that?
Well, it was a mix of things. We would have liked to have waited for a few years and done it when we were a little more ready, but we didn't really get that opportunity. Part of it was this door behind us. My wife was sitting on the sofa and heard something scratching and making noise, and came to check the door out, and there was a large beetle there starting to eat away at the door.
Large beetle.
So
yeah, eating into the wood.
Yeah, we had a wood destroying beetle that was eating this door, so that needed to be fixed right away. Along with that, just utility costs, and we know the windows weren't efficient. There was condensation on the outside of the windows in the mornings. We could tell there were inefficiencies, and you could sit next to a window in the summer or the winter and feel the heat and cold coming in. And then none of the windows had screens. So spring and fall we couldn't open windows.
Enjoy this beautiful view.
Yeah, this will give us the opportunity to do that as well. So
when you moved in, how long have you been in now in the house?
A little over 2 years.
So when you decided to make the move to look into windows, tell me about the process that you got involved with for getting quotes. How many quotes did you get? How many people did you have come out and bid this?
We had 3 people come out, including you. We reached out to several. So I just turned my wife loose, and she went to every place she could find that said they did windows in the area and started scheduling them to come out and give us quotes.
Gotcha. So you sicked her on them. And now, what did you find within that process that was good, bad, and ugly?
I looked up reviews of different places, and then we had the people come out, and it kind of rang true that there's a lot of games in the way people sell windows and doors. We had one come out that, we've got best deal, we'll get you the best price, but we can't come back for a few weeks to actually give you any of the pricing because I've got to get my boss because it's a big job, and we're gonna make sure we do everything the very best for you. That was a little bit strange to me in this day and age, that we can't price a window a little more quickly than a few weeks.
Yeah.
Even though it's a big job, it's still,
Well, did you encounter a lot of what we hear from customers? You counter a lot of that high pressure sales tactic.
That was the other one we
one.
got,
Yeah.
which was, I can give you 50% off today, but as soon as I walk out the door, that deal goes away and you can only get 30% off after that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to talk about numbers, but we were talking about a number that was twice what we're paying for windows and doors through you. We were talking about something up in the area of $60,000, and I mean, yeah, that's a huge savings to save that extra money that day, but I'm not going to drop $50,000 or $60,000 on one conversation in a day.
Now, contrast that with the way Window World does business, and of course, we use the printed price list. How was that when I got here and you met me? How did that process really reflect differently for you?
I was really shocked that you were going to give us a price at that point as soon as you walked up, but also that you just pulled out a price list and started marking it down. The thing I really liked was, I work in IT. I sat down with a spreadsheet after you left and I plugged in all the different options and I compared, what would it be if we did this number of double hungs and did everything double hung versus the sliders that we ended up going with, which saves some money because 2 windows got replaced with 1 window now. It gave me the ability to really quickly know, okay, I can be within a couple $100s of what the final price would be for all these different options. I can price it myself to figure out which way we want to go and how we want to do it.
Now, because of our pricing structure, did that allow you to do all the doors at the same time versus if you'd have went other places, you would have had to chop that job up?
We couldn't have done this all at once.
No. Yeah.
There's no way. It's still expensive and it wasn't easy to do it, doing it through you. I mean, it's expensive to do all this. But looking at the literature on the doors, the literature on the windows, what we're getting to come in and see them and see them in the showroom, we felt pretty confident that this was going to be something that we were going to be happy with what we were going to get in the end, and it was worth it.
And I know we've just begun the process. We've got some of the windows in. Tell me a little bit about this artwork here. Is this a we're giving up the ghost on the door, so let the girls go crazy?
So I'm not a big fan of washing windows in general. And somebody gave us as a gift window markers, and I was like, we're never going to use these. And then when we decided to do all the windows and doors, I handed it to the girls. I said, girls, this is your chance.
Yeah.
This is your one chance that you're going to get to make all of the artwork that you want.
You know what you might want to do, unless they've already taken away the old sashes. A lot of times people will keep an old sash for a memento and draw on that or write on that or put pictures in that.
There we go.
And then keep that. That gives us a good idea of where you're at and the stage of the process. So far of what you've seen, of what Joseph and Corbin have done and what we've done, what's been your initial reaction now that we've started but we're not completed?
I mean, I really like the windows that have all gone in. There's still some finish work to do on the outside, but everything that's done looks great from the inside. Joseph and Corbin have been great. They've been really personable, nice to talk to, very professional, great with the kids because, we homeschool and our kids are out there seeing what's going on and learning a little bit of how to put in doors and windows and practicing piano and doing everything they normally do. So,
and when I told you they would get all of those 13 in one day, you probably didn't believe me, did you?
I wasn't sure, and I think even Joseph yesterday when he showed up was like, we're gonna do this front room and we'll see how things go. But they stayed and they got all the windows in one day. I'm interested to see how quickly the rest of it goes because the windows were quick compared to the doors, but there's a lot of work here to do. But
a little more adjustment on these older homes on doors. You want to make sure you get everything adjusted just right. Of course, we would come back forever, lifetime warranty. We'd come back and adjust them as much as you need. And that one door that goes out to your patio, to the garage, that's going to get the most use, obviously. Yeah. So over time, if you have any issues at all, it's covered. We'll come out and adjust it. And we've never charged anybody a trip fee or a service charge in over 20 years. A lot of companies will say, oh, it's a lifetime warranty, but then they charge trip fees and service fees. Our store has never charged anyone a dime per service, so that's something we're proud of.
That's great, and Joseph said the same thing. He said, if you have a problem, call, because we take care of it.
We're kind of mirrored, aren't we? Yeah, we're all on the same page. And that's the way we treat our customers. We want you to have an experience that is just heads above anybody, and that's the experience that we go for because we care what we do, and we know that's going to land us another job down the road. You're going to tell your mom, your dad, your brother, and I know we've already talked to your dad, and I know your dad's already placed an order with us. So even before we put the windows in, you had told him about that, and I got to meet him. It was a pleasure. You got an awesome dad.
Yeah. We told them about the process, and I don't think they even called anybody else. They just said, okay, let's see what we think of Window World.
Something about the process that I thought I was just thinking about was every other purchase you might make that's a larger purchase. Think of the ones that you can just customize it on their website and it tells you the price right there. You click order, everything on Amazon, it never surprises you what the price is. Yeah. But you go to buy a car and it's always a surprise. Those big purchases, people want to just shock you and hide their price, which I think was really helpful with Window World because nothing was hidden. It was very easy to know exactly what we were going to have to pay. I think that aspect alone really makes a big difference because both of the other companies that came out was like, well, we've got all of these tricks and finagling on the one company, and the other company was like, we'll be back in 3 weeks. It's like, okay.
Did you ever hear back from that other?
They called back to say, hey, we're ready to come out and officially measure, even though she measured every window already. And I was like, well, we've already gone with somebody else, sorry, But they did finally call back.
And some construction companies, they do a variety of things. They do in kitchens and baths and decks, and it's not their lane. And the one thing that, we really focus on and we stay in our lane is windows and doors is our specialty. That's what we've done for almost 30 years now, and that makes us really good at what we do. And all of our installers are in-house installers as well, so we're not hiring different people to try to get a project completed. Joseph and Corbin, this is all they've ever done is windows and doors. That's what they do. All of our crews are that way. When you specialize in something, then obviously you can get the best service, get the most experience. I always tell people, you're not going to throw anything at us that we haven't seen and done over 18,000 times, because we're over 18,000 jobs now. So it doesn't matter if it's from the 20s, the 30s, the 70s. We've seen and done this a million times. This is
including wood eating beetles.
Old wood eating double doors. That's right. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity. And next, I'll get your reaction when we're all done, and we'll do a walk around and get your reaction to the whole house being complete.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Look forward to it.
All right. So here we are at one of these famous 70s aluminum sliding patio doors that have completely frozen and fallen apart probably. I see there's no screen. So Tell me what's happened with this. You don't even use it.
No, we can't really use the patio doors. They're big, they're heavy. The tracks have been
8 footers.
Yeah, the tracks have been so dirty for so long and everything's corroded, and I can get them open, but it's hard to get them open. And this one I actually I had it open last summer one time, and then I went to close it and the entire end of it ripped off. It just pulled the screws out because everything was so hard to move.
Well, aluminum is a great conductor, so what happens, especially in a pool house like this, is this stays hot on the inside in the summer, stays cold in the winter. I see this is literally just sitting right down on the block, and you've got some gaps here we'll fill. These are sitting on a track system where the door is literally down on the track, where all the rocks and the dirt from walking in and out will collect and then grind the wheels to a pulp, and that's what happens to these. So the new door, you'll see, is sitting up on a raised monorail. The wheels are up inside the door and it'll just glide like butter. Plus, the patio door is insulated, 4 weather strips all the way around on the jamb and the sides and the top and bottom. And then where the 2 doors come together, they're fully interlocked and they cuff. So you're gonna see a big, big difference with those. But the ease of operation is the main thing. Like I say, it's kind of a shame right now you have this beautiful pool house and you can't even open the doors, front or back.
It's gonna be amazing to be able to open those doors and put a fan in front of them and get a breeze through here instead of just...
And you might decide sometime to put this into a play area out here, and then they can kind of go from in and out. Yeah. Well, we'll see it later when we get it all done. So, Clayton, JannaRose, are you ready to go outside and see, now that we're wrapping up and we're just about done, and are you ready to see all this on the outside? Let's go outside and take a look. Isn't this a beautiful black door? I noticed you went with the trend there of black, and it does fit in with the house very well with the tan. A lot of people are nervous about doing a black and white and tan, but this goes really good, and under here it looks beautiful. So. Now we changed this from 2 windows to 1 window, so now that it's a 2-light slider, are you getting more light in there? Does it feel a lot more open from the inside?
A lot lighter and definitely a lot more open. I mean, between the windows and the door, everything's very clear, very easy to see outside.
Now you made the comment to me that just in this 2 days, you've already noticed the girls said what when they got up this morning?
When they got up this morning, they said it was freezing cold in our house. And we've also noticed that we don't hear the crickets and cicadas as much in this room that's finished yet. So,
yeah, because out here you don't have traffic in the woods.
No.
Oh, and I do want to point out that we are at this time of year. It's 93 degrees out here right now. So we're talking about it freezing inside. That's what's good about it. That would be the other thing that you made a comment about earlier was just the expeditiousness of how all this went down. Were you surprised at how quickly all this went in? I know they got just a little more to wrap up, but we're wrapping up now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. It's been a lot of windows and doors, and so far we're on day 3, and yeah, it's come very quickly.
Awesome, very good. So what are some other things you've noticed now that we're at the end of the process or that have made an impression upon you?
One of the big things I've noticed is just the 2 guys who've been out here doing the work, Joseph and Corbin. You know, they've been really good to work with. They're very attentive to detail. They're figuring out the best way to wrap everything and make everything look nice and finished. And it's been a really good experience having them out here. At the same time, they don't rush. I mean, we talked about how fast it's gone. They've said multiple times, I mean, if it takes an extra day, it takes an extra day to do it and do it right, because they only move as fast as they can move and not mess up. So
in 93-degree heat.
In 93-degree heat, and they've put in long days.
So JannaRose, what has been your overall impression of the whole process now that we're at the end here?
I was imagining that my whole house would be exposed to the elements for however long it took. And in my mind, I knew they were going to do one at a time, but that still seemed a little extreme. But I've been very glad that each window was actually only missing for a short time, so the air conditioning was almost unaffected. I mean, really, it was very quick in and out. So even though we got some flies that were killing, it was so easy. And so we haven't heard the air conditioning just continuously run, even though it's 93, 95, 99 degrees yesterday. So yeah, I was glad about that.
So we'll come back after we get through this winter, and we'll get your experience of both the summer and the winter of the overall experience. But I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I really appreciate your feedback. And the girls have been great. The guys say you have the most awesome kids. We'll do a little interview with them too when we do the follow-up, and they can brag about how nice it's been for them as well.
Yeah.
It'll be great. They've enjoyed it.
So let's go take a look at your new front door. Okay, so here we are at your new front door. Now, I do want to explain to most people, this wouldn't be a front door type of operation with a patio door, but we're out here in the woods, and this really doesn't face anything but woods, and so on your driveway side is really your main door under the awning. Tell me what you like about the new door.
I love the fact that all the light can come through, and our kids are able to just see out easily. They kind of feel like they're outside when they're inside, so it's really nice. The other door had so much wood that sitting in the living room, you couldn't see what the kids were doing on the porch.
Gotcha.
And we like to live out here. It's nice to just be able to see what they're doing if they're doing their school. I can keep an eye on them, so
awesome.
Yeah,
and now that it's, once it cools down a little bit, you'll be able to slide the screen and enjoy more ventilation.
Yep.
The other big thing is it's not wood and there's no exposed wood, so no more wood destroying beetles.
Yes.
And luckily we don't have vinyl eating beetles.
I hope not.
We made the comment about the girls getting up this morning and talking about how cold it was. Have you noticed a big difference right here standing in front of this compared to the old one? And when you're at the piano?
I was gonna say, when they were practicing piano today, just the natural light was so much nicer. We didn't even have to turn the lights on in the living room yet. The lights are still off in there. So the natural light has been
That was a comment I made this morning. This whole corner of the room is a lot brighter now. You know, even though it's facing north, it still gets so much reflected light in the morning.
Getting a lot of radiant light.
It still brightens up this corner.
Here we are, we're all done, and I really do want to thank you again. Appreciate you taking the time to do this for us and relate to your experience and give your experience. So we were talking just a little earlier, and I want to hear you, JannaRose, tell me again about what you were saying about the whole experience, the package from beginning to end.
Yeah, we have 4 little girls, and we homeschool, we live here, he works from home, so we're all in the mix. And a friend said, why didn't you call me to take the girls so they weren't going to be bored and out of your hair? And I said, well, actually, because they've been having a blast. They've been watching them work like it's a TV show. And the guys who are working are super nice. They've taught them a little finger game. They've been super patient with them, taking their time to answer their questions. And 4 little girls have a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. And so it's been really nice to see that. And then on top of that, I realized they're so laid back, but also very professional. So it doesn't seem like Window World is, oh, we got to get this job done at this time and this time and this time. They're not under that pressure, so they can take their time and make the girls feel like they aren't a bother or a nuisance to them because they're not being pressured on the back end to get it done at a certain length of time. So it's been a nice balance. We have thoroughly enjoyed having them.
Yeah, we take the time we need because we know if we rush through it and there's any issue at all, it's our job from here on out for life. So if we got to come back and fix something, that's not good. We want to get everything squared away now. Clayton, give me your final synopsis here of the entire process from beginning to end.
If I had to break it down, I'd say it was pretty painless. I mean, it was an easy process. Everybody was helpful and professional. Even having people in our house for a few days now, in and out, it's been easy, and we've enjoyed it. I think we're satisfied. We're looking forward to having the new windows and doors and just
New center point bills.
Yeah. Hopefully some lower power bills and
Definitely.
a lot of other advantages. So
Yeah, and those pool room doors just turned out beautiful. Those really came out nice.
Yeah.
So, and all the entry doors, we just really appreciate you doing it all at once. It doesn't matter to us, but now you get that benefit immediate. You're not going to say, well, if we'd have done part of it, maybe the bills aren't that, but now you're really going to see that impact. And even though it is a 70s home and it's a ranch style, it still has a lot of windows and doors in it. So, we did put in 13 total windows. You had 8 that were double hungs that move up and down, double hung tilt-in windows. Then you had 4 sliders where we converted 2 twin double hungs into 2 light sliders that slided. And then we converted that big, beautiful front window on the front from 3 to 1 3 light. And that really opened up the living room. I didn't think it looked that much different, but it really, really looks that much different. And then, of course, the patio door that we typically would put onto a patio became your front door, and then the entry door to your laundry room, your utility to the pool house, and the bedroom door to the front of the house that has the circle top. It all just came out beautifully. So everything matches really well. Your trim being white, it all looks good. And we do have other colors, but in this case, I think you went with just exactly what you needed to. It looks beautiful. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And what I always say is once you've done business with Window World, you're in the family. So now you're in the family forever. If you have any issues or anything comes up, we're here to take care of you.
All right.
So
We really
thanks
appreciate
again.
that.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.